Hey everybody, welcome back to the Martel and Friends podcast. My name is Antoine Martel. I've successfully fixed and flipped over 650 houses in the last 10 years across multiple markets, and now I help other people do the same thing with my company, FlipSystem. Today we're sitting down with Connor and Vito, who are FlipSystem advisors, and they've invested in real estate on their own as well. So I'm hoping that you get to learn and hear from their story and their experience about investing in real estate. So thank you for coming on the podcast today, boys.
Yes, sir.
No problem, man.
How's it going?
Phenomenal. Just another day in paradise out here.
Good.
Truly.
Good.
Welcome back to LA, bro.
Thank you.
We missed you.
No.
He doesn't miss us.
No. So, Victor, let's talk about you, about your real estate investing, because Connor's podcast already is live, so people know a little bit about him. But for you,
Quite the performance
like,
on that one, by the way.
Thanks.
for you, like, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your real estate investing like experience before you learned about FlipSystem, before meeting me, all that kind of stuff. But like, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your real estate investing background.
Yeah. So, I mean, really start with my fitness training business. So, basically, I built that up, and obviously the clientele in LA, they have some capital, and so I've always like picked their brain on like where are you putting your money and all that. And essentially, one of my clients, who's a doctor, he was investing in the Midwest at the time. He had like probably a dozen properties like in Michigan,
Oh, wow.
as well as other places. But I was more attracted to the Midwest, you know, when he was talking about it, because I was like, that's a price point I can afford, right?
Yeah.
So I knew I wasn't going to invest in LA, but I knew I always wanted to be in real estate ever since reading the classic Rich Dad Poor Dad. So yeah, with that, I basically like weaseled my way into a deal. He told me he was about to buy another property. This was probably like 2017. It was $55K purchase price, and he just buys them all cash. He doesn't like, he just buys them turnkey cash. And so I literally weaseled my way into buying 30% of that. So that was the capital that I had at the time.
Wow.
And did that, and literally the first year was like the greatest year of my real estate career. It's like never missed a payment. Like the rent roll was perfect. Like literally not one single issue. So I'm sitting here thinking, real estate's the easiest thing ever. Like, what am I doing? Like, you know. And so, but I also had no idea about like funding or anything. So I thought I literally had to build capital enough to buy all these properties in cash. Yeah. So I mean, that's like, I'll just pause for the cause there and just say like, man, if I knew about lending, like hard money lending, like years ago, yeah, I'd be in your freaking seat, and you'd be interviewing, I'd be interviewing you. But yeah, so yeah, I got that turnkey, and then again, it was just like a slow process because I'm trying to like build up capital,
cash,
yeah. So yeah, from there I was like, I don't know why, but I like took a back seat again of just kind of like seeing how it was gonna go. And by the time I wanted to like jump in more like with a full head of steam, of course, like it was around the COVID years, right? Which everything was just going bonkers. Like there was a year that I literally was trying to get into a deal like harder than I had ever in the past, and it was just like, you know, just getting priced out of everything. And I almost bought a turnkey off of, I was under contract, if you remember.
That's
right.
right.
And then I couldn't get lending because I've always been self-employed.
That's right.
And it was like a whole, you know, hassle with that. So dropped that turnkey. Winded up getting a kind of turnkey property at the time, but it needed to do some rehab. Yeah. And that's when I learned the lesson of like, your team on the ground really matters, because essentially I just had a project manager that was horrible at her job. She was, you know, telling me all the rehabs were supposed to be done within like probably 45 days. It literally took her, I don't even remember. It must have been like 3 months to just get it up to speed and actually, you know, get the rehab done so it was rent ready. So we had to like move out one tenant and do that. So anyways, it was at that point where I was like, oh wow, like you can't just like cold call someone and then believe what they say, you know, in terms of like their efficiency. So, but right around that time, I literally met you in LA. And if you remember,
I remember the meetup in Santa Monica.
Pretty funny. It's funny because I swear like that meeting is the reason I'm sitting here and like working with you, and it's just pretty wild. Like it's one of those things where you look back and you're like, that was such a little moment that honestly changed a lot. And actually, it's crazy. My memory is super on point with this. It was a rainy day, I remember, and I didn't want to go. I was
Yeah.
like it was on my calendar, and I'm like a real estate meetup on a rainy day. You know, when it rains in LA, it's like snow. It's like, dude, we hibernate.
No one's going anywhere.
Exactly. And so, but anyway, I went there, met you and your beautiful girlfriend, and was like, yo, this is fam, you know? And I just was like, Antoine, be my friend. Actually, if I recall, you hit me up on Insta, and I was like, what's this guy doing? Hit me up on IG. And then you were like, bro, good to meet you. And I was like, oh my God, like, I'm so honored. And then we just became boys from there. I know I booked a couple mentorship calls with you, like one-off ones, but
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that answered your question, but
Crazy. Well, no, thanks for the recap for sure.
Yeah.
So you bought that one turnkey with one of your clients from your gym.
Mhm.
And then after that, you kind of waited. Everything went kind of like kosher, like amazingly well for that first couple years. And then COVID hit. You tried to get in. And then when did you come and meet me at that meetup?
Right after I backed out of that turnkey with you, and then I bought another turnkey. That was the one that needed work.
Got it.
So I did get that one. It just was
Was that in like 2021?
probably around that 2021, 2022
Yeah.
ish. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I actually did a seller finance deal. I got another turnkey under my belt.
Yeah.
So at that time, yeah, I had 3. But, you know, I think I thought of it a lot differently. And I was also like thinking everything was going to go the same way it did the first year.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is really not as as great as it seemed, you know, in terms of just like it's so slow. And so that's when I was like, I need to like get into some sort of
Something more
repeatable process.
active.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, Connor, same thing too. I think you looked at buying turnkey rentals as well when you first started.
Yeah,
Right.
I was looking on Martel Turnkey back in like 2019, I think, and I actually booked a call with your mom, and me and her talked.
we love a Lynn call.
Lynn's
can we
great.
just take a moment for
Lynn's
Lynn?
great. Yeah, me and my ex at the time were looking at doing something and like seeing like the numbers and what that all looked like. I mean, I think it definitely would have been even smarter and more lucrative, obviously, in during COVID, because as the rates went down, it just made the properties cash flow more.
Yeah.
But then, you know, when we first were looking at it, we just didn't have the right lens that we're looking at the deal. We're thinking like, oh, $250, $300, but it's like the appreciation, the longevity, and then also how that can change as interest rates change.
Yeah. Interesting. So Martel Turnkey, for those that don't know, you can go to martelturnkey.com, but essentially what that website does and what it has is turnkey rental properties for sale that are already cash flowing. So house has been renovated, property manager in place, tenants in place. You can essentially buy it, get a loan on it, and make money the next month. So the houses are ready to go, cash flowing already. We even hook you up with lenders as well. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. So you guys now both work at FlipSystem.
Yes, sir.
What made you guys, because you guys, that's why I wanted to have you both on the same time. You guys both have your own like businesses. You guys are very entrepreneurial. You should hear the Geico story.
Oh, I heard it. Yeah.
And then what made you guys want to join FlipSystem? Because you guys already do have businesses. Like, why would you want to work at a company? Why would you want to work at a company like FlipSystem? And like, what made you guys both make that jump to come and work here?
Want me to set it off?
You started off by the.
Well, I'll say this first. I honestly originally thought of it as like, don't let this hype you up and give you a big head. But I was like, I do want to be around greatness, and like I figured, closer I am to you and what you have going on, I figured it would grow me. That was like one of the main reasons. I'm just like, this is just an opportunity to be in a new space, you know, and grow in the real estate world. So it was mainly that. It wasn't even like necessarily like a money play for me. And yeah, you're right. I'm not like a W-2 guy, right? But I think too, after talking with you, it seemed like you were going to give a lot of autonomy, you know, in a lot of areas. And so I'm like, screw it, man. I love having conversations with people, talking about real estate. And honestly, it was pretty applicable to kind of what I was doing with fitness in terms of, you know, the idea of a fitness trainer, or at least a good one, is that I meet with you to assess like your individual needs, capacity, and like what you're looking to do, and then create a program that's going to be individualized to you, right? And so I would be able to tell you quickly if I can help you, and if we're a good fit. And it's the same is true with what we have going on, right? This isn't for everybody. Like if people are just looking, you know, for a passive investment and want to, you know, just enjoy, just to be completely passive, then it's like go down the syndication route. Like this is not for you, you know. This takes some effort. So I would say one, to just kind of enter a new space with a awesome dude like yourself, and then also talk about real estate all day, man.
Love it.
I can do it all day.
Well, thank you for the compliment.
Yeah.
Connor, what about your compliment?
What about the compliment? I love it. We have very similar paths, and I think also that's why me and Vic connect. Like him having his own fitness business, my basketball business, like it's kind of similar. Like, you're in sales like all day long, and you're marketing your own business, all day long. And so like I do the same thing where I'm meeting with clients. I go over their goals. I try to figure out what they're trying to do. I tell them I have a very different type of method of training. This is the path. This is how it can work to get there, and I'm going to show you the end result of like where we're going. And so it's kind of like similar in that sense where it felt like there's some alignment there of already what I've done. Now when it comes to like actually working with FlipSystem, it's kind of like same with you. Like after I went through the process and I got my first deal, I still had time because it only took like 3.5, 5 hours of work a week, So I was like, okay, so I don't really have to spend that much time doing this.
Yeah.
I still have my basketball business. I still have nothing to do from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I was like, I literally want something to do, and I'm just such an entrepreneur at
Because you were
heart.
coaching kids too, right?
Yeah.
And they had school. And
Exactly.
shit like that.
So, and then they usually have after school basketball or programs or whatever. So like my business really doesn't start till after 5. So I
Yeah.
literally coach 5 to 8 Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, okay, so like what can I do during that time? And I'm all about MMAs, money making activities, right? So I was just like, what is the
fighter?
Jeez. I know.
So like I was like, what can I do that's gonna be worth my time that I also enjoy? And then I saw you post you're looking for sales advisors, and I was just like, you know what? I love real estate. I'm already a student of this. I get to talk to people every day about my own experience and help them with that. And then I'm going to say it too, Vic. I wanted to kind of be around greatness. I was like, the more I can be around Antoine and learn from him and see, what we're doing from the inside out, I just thought it'd be a really good fit for me. So it kind of checked all my boxes from a sense of what it is I've done in the past, what I've already done as a student, and that kind of alignment there. And then the autonomy. Like, me, I love to travel. Like last year I was in Spain for a month and I was able to still work, right? So it just kind of like fit all my boxes with everything I was looking for. And just like because of my own experience and how well it went, I just wanted to share that with people and basically help them take that leap if it fit them, to work with us to go and do this. Because sometimes it's a scary, feeling. Whenever you're trying to do something that's a big shift, career shift or anything, it's like even when someone probably comes to you and is like wanting to go into fitness, they might be kind of scared, like, hey, I've never figured this out before. Hey, maybe I don't feel comfortable in my body, like all this stuff. And you got to kind of show them the path and guide them to it to where they feel more comfortable making that decision.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I feel like on a lot of our calls, and I'm sure you can relate, it's more about coaching mindset than it is anything else.
Yeah.
Because you can see the same thing 2 different ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like there is a right and a wrong perspective, right, on things, like especially on problems. The people that see problems as unsolvable, well, that's it. Then it's unsolvable, and then
leave.
and then what entrepreneurs do is we come in and we solve problems. So it's more about like coaching up like the mindset behind doing
and
all
I think
this.
too, like you guys said it, like you guys both said it, but like it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Like when you go to a trainer, it's like, I can't help you, go to the next guy. Whatever, somebody like wants to learn basketball in a completely different way, and you're like, no, sorry man, I can't help you, or
they're 4'2".
4'2", like, buddy, go play golf, So I feel like with FlipSystem too, like, and real estate investing in general too, not just about us, but real estate is not a perfect game.
For sure.
Like if you want something perfect, go put it in a high interest savings account, make your 5%, and go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Stock market too is also like a different appetite. It's like, I'm gonna have a diverse stock market portfolio and make my 7%, or S&P. It's like, all right, cool, go and do that. You're not gonna make any monthly cash flow, but you'll build wealth over time, just slow as shit. So I don't know. There's definitely a type of person who like comes in with FlipSystem and destroys it as well, and it's typically like the self-starters, the people that have like tried it before, know the pains of doing it yourself, and then they come in and they're like, wow, I can like email this person or show up to a call every day and like get my question answered. This like finally.
No, you nailed it. I think anybody who hasn't tried to do a deal on their own doesn't fully understand the value of FlipSystem. Honestly, like, because if you haven't tried to build your team, find a deal. If you're just like, oh, I was thinking about doing this, or like Amazon shop, it's like, oh dear, like, hit me up in a couple months, bro. Like, I'm not even gonna talk to you about it because you have no context.
And kind of even to that, to elaborate more, like, I was so shocked. I remember when I bought my first house and I texted you. I was like, I closed on the deal. Like, now what? I was like, and you're like, you own the house, Connor. Like, what are you talking about? Like, now what? And I was like, well, what happens next? And then you're like, well, it closed, right? I was like, yeah. That was on a Friday. Monday morning, I'm literally waking up to texts and videos from my project manager, they already finished demo. Because again, I'm 3 hours behind. And so it's like 11:30 there. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what just happened? Like, this is crazy. And so like, they kind of, like I said, they like drag you to the finish line to success. And then even to your point, not only can you email customer support or whatnot, like they literally teach you guys teach us exactly like how to do something where it's like, oh, you submit an offer, you tag the right people, then like they handle everything else from the title to the contractor to the project manager, property manager, realtor. And so it's like kind of like a more well-oiled machine where like, I wouldn't know what the hell to do. And I don't think people think of all the things that go into it, which is, to your point, people that have never done real estate are like, well, I could figure this out. It's like, honestly, man, be my guest. Go give it a try, and I know in 6 months you'd be like, okay, what 100%. The hell?
Didn't you tell somebody?
I was about to tell you that story. So in August, there's a guy that I talked to, Naquan Hook. This dude's the man.
Chill, I don't know if
I don't know about that. Beep.
Yeah.
This guy's awesome, though. Why I say it.
Giving out customer info over here. His social security is like, whoa, brother, chill out.
So basically, we talked back in August, and he, was like, oh, I talked to a realtor. They said I could figure this out on my own. So I'm just going to like do this on my own. And I was like, really? And he lives in New York and he's going to invest in Detroit. And I was like, okay, fine. And that was in August. I said, honestly, like, if that's what you want to do, go ahead. I just really feel like we can help you, but totally fine. I let it go. All of a sudden, mid-December, I'm getting a text and he goes, hey, I want to join FlipSystem. Like, it wasn't even a question even at that point. It's just like, I want to join.
4 months later.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, like, what happened? He goes, so I bought the house in Detroit. The realtor told me she's going to connect me to the contractor, told me she's going to do all this stuff. 100%. And nothing happened. Yeah. It's been sitting for like 2 months. Like, I just literally need a team. And I need someone to come in there. Like, can Detroit be my market? Can you connect me to the team and start helping me do all this? And I was like, yes, 1,000%. That's what we do. Yeah. And he goes, I know. He goes, honestly, it was just because, like, the only reason why I came back was because of our conversation and how nice you were and all this. And like, I just feel like you're going to take care of me. And I was like, yeah. And it was just a quick call.
But honestly, like, good on him, because I think most people I tell to go do that. I'm like, dude, you're going to be 60 years old and be like, oh, I should have gotten to real estate. You know what I mean? Like, so most people fall in line with just talking shit about it. And it's like, man, you got to take action ultimately.
But I think too, like Martel Turnkey, when I started Martel Turnkey, I was selling all the houses. I was posting on Instagram. People would come and like, they would book a call on my page. They would book a call on the website. It was me taking the sales calls. So I sold hundreds of these fucking houses.
You were terrible at them, by the way. You always told me like, nah, don't buy it. I'm like, all right.
See, but that was my fucking thing.
Yeah, no, I'm
smart. Serious though. Like, people would be like, oh, like, why should I buy this house or whatever? I'm like, if you're here for me to convince you to buy real estate, don't. Like, just go and buy real estate on your own. Go stumble on yourself, lose 20 grand, and then call me back in a couple of months.
Yeah.
And people were like it was like the best sales tactic ever. And it also like saved me so much fucking time. Because people would come and be like, how do I know that it's renovated to my standard? And I'm like, buddy, you never invested in real estate before. I've done 200 houses just like this. I've sold hundreds of these deals and I have the best property manager. The property's leased out already. The property's already fully renovated. You can just buy it. I'll connect you with a lender and you can just use my team and go and like manage that property thereafter. Oh, yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. I might just want to like do it myself. Or like, you guys are selling it for like what it's worth, right? Yeah. I'm like, yeah, we're selling it for like its market value.
Yeah.
I want to buy below market value. I'm like, okay, cool. So what you're going to do is leave my website, go on Zillow, make a bunch of offers, find a realtor that's going to find a property manager, cold call them, go watch my content on Instagram, and then call me in 6 months. You know how many people would come back to me and be like, I didn't do shit. Or like, I tried. I cold called 10 realtors, 10 property managers, and I didn't do anything. And I couldn't buy a house. It was like, real estate's tough to do it on your own, out of state especially.
For sure.
That also comes back, though, to mindset. When me and Vic talk about, like, a lot of our calls are about mindset, where like there's so many people that want 100,000 coming in a year in real estate, or they want to invest, or this. Like, people just talk all the time, but there's a reason why most people don't do anything, because most people are sheep. No. Most people actually don't take action. Bro, most people are literally just doing nothing.
Derek Shivers has this line I use on pretty much every call. I'm like, if information was the answer, everyone would be millionaires with six packs. And it's like, literally, bro, that is so true.
Literally.
Like,
and even on top of it, you can take a step further. Like, look, there's like, why does 1% of the world own 99% of the wealth? And then 99% of the world owns 1%, because most people are comfortable just staying in their comfort zone. Yeah. So they say they want all these things, but they're actually not going to take the action. And like, that's really our job, is to kind of show them a different perspective, to allow them to make an educated choice and take that action, as opposed to just talk about it. Because They might be 40 at the time, but yeah, like you're saying, they might be 60 and they're still in the same spot. And they're like, man, if only I listened to that Vic guy and I actually took action and did this 20 years ago.
I think we're gonna haunt these guys' dreams. Some of the.
I'm hoping
I've
so,
coached
man.
up people pretty hard of like, listen, man, this is not gonna change my life as much as it's gonna change
Exactly.
yours. So I don't even care if it's with us, but you need to take action.
Do something.
Do freaking something. And I know once they hang up that call, they're just not going to do anything.
Tomorrow at the event, like I'm going to go up there and talk for a couple minutes, 5-10 minutes. The only thing I'm talking about is taking action.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I'm talking about is just try it.
Right.
Dude, it's not like, oh, okay, I'm going to buy a turnkey rental from Martel Turnkey, or I'm going to go buy a house on Zillow and my whole life is going to change 180. I'm going to be poor and homeless.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude, just try it. You're on this
you'll be
call.
okay.
You have enough money. You're going to be okay. Go try it. Be like, I hate real estate. I'm like, great.
Yeah.
Go do something like check. Go do an
Right,
Amazon
right.
FBA store and
Well,
get screwed
don't do that.
over. Check.
don't do that.
Well,
Try
remember
trucking
Blanca,
company.
Blanca too. So she
Guys,
just,
I talked to her.
Did you hear her story?
Oh, dude,
Bro,
gnarly.
what?
did you have a sales call with her?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so she wanted to join FlipSystem. She got on a call with somebody, and then she decided to not join FlipSystem and do real estate and go do Amazon FBA.
Mm-hmm.
Or the week before, she had started an Amazon FBA. Then she saw one of our ads. Then she scheduled a call to speak with one of you guys. And she decided to, she was like, I already put 50 grand in this
Dude,
Amazon
I think
FBA.
It was more.
More.
But
It was
yeah,
more.
but
I
let's-
know,
let's-
but we'll just
let's not
start
share
there.
her whole
Oh my
business.
God.
You
Yeah.
have to bleep her out.
bleep
Leave
a
her
lot of
name
that.
out too.
Yeah.
Okay, she told you what happened?
Yes.
Yeah, bro.
Bro, but that happens like all the time. Like I had
Take
another
that smile
friend.
off your face, bro.
Yeah.
This poor girl.
Like
Lost.
people are putting
Okay, but what
full
happened then? You guys
salaries.
maybe have more information.
People are putting full
I don't know if
salaries
it's
to
okay to
buy
talk
these.
about her.
Yeah, people are putting
We'll
full
bleep it
salaries to
out.
buy these like Amazon FBA stores, getting promised the world, and then it's like a scam.
Yeah.
It's so
And
gnarly.
they just ran away with her money, essentially.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I
Basically.
think she told me.
Yeah.
And I think
Can we put a number to that?
60K.
Yeah, 60, 65 is what she said.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then she didn't want to join FlipSystem because she was like, I don't want.
Right,
I want to see.
and
how
I was
it
gonna say
goes.
not to get on a big tangent here, but I'm like, it's so annoying that people associate us with like
These
Yeah.
shit like that. I'm like, oh my God, we have so much more social proof and like
Yeah.
we have agreements, we have all these things in place that like make it as like safe as possible.
Yeah.
And like when they throw us in the like you're a scam FBA store, I'm like, dude, please, like any other objection is fine, but that one, like I don't even have the
Yeah.
patience to talk to you about how illogical that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. You never be like how many? Well, he knows a couple billionaires, you know.
Oh yeah.
So how many
this guy.
billionaires do you know that have like, I started with an Amazon FBA store? You know, like nobody does.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's
here's-
also, we're also, last thing, FlipSystem is also a guide in the real estate world. Amazon FBA is like, here, buy this, and like, good luck, hope
Yeah.
it works for
Yeah.
you. Like, here,
Well,
buy
yeah.
this like pre-done product, essentially. So we're like, they don't learn shit. That's the main thing. They don't learn shit. Even if an Amazon FBA store works, you don't fucking learn anything.
Mhm.
It's like we have like tortilla warmers on Amazon, and it makes $7,000 a month, and then like 3 months later, tortilla warmers like
aren't a thing anymore.
aren't a thing anymore. Or like bicycle pizza cutters, and like there's just selling weird ass shit.
That was always my thing when it comes to Shopify. Any of those things, there's too many steps
Yeah.
to get to a goal. And it was just like I felt like I had no control. How am I going to pick the right product? How am I going to market it the right way? How am I going to do all this? What's my marketing budget? All that.
Yeah.
And so it's like when it comes to like just circling back like towards real estate, I just feel like you have more control. You have more control. You understand the process. You see what's going on. You own the damn property. You know what's going on. And on top of that, when it comes to all the things that we hear about, the scams, just that and the other, people scared of getting burned. I think this is the thing that what I have seen with most successful people in my life versus not is most successful people are willing to take the risk and they're okay with getting burned and they'll go again.
Yeah,
and then they'll go again and they'll go again.
Sure.
That's entrepreneurship. Right?
Yeah.
Like you see all the memes. It's up and down. It's like one
But
day
it's-
you're on cloud 10, the next day you're like,
But it's
oh my God, I'm
life
losing my
too, though.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
dude, it's like some people, like you said, like some people are just like, I'm just gonna stay at this like level of life, and the only thing I'm gonna take a risk on is going and visiting a new city on vacation.
Yeah. Which, by the way, can we just say that's okay?
Yeah, yeah,
There's
honestly,
nothing wrong
totally
with it.
fine.
Like, if just
Some
be
days I wake
content-
up and I'm like, oh, I fucking wish I worked at Starbucks. And, like, me and someone will joke about that.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I wish like I didn't have Slack messages at 4 a.m. and
Right.
then like
No, you
didn't-
never turn off.
Yeah,
You- like,
exactly.
Yeah, that's
Like
the
sometimes
life of
you
an
just
entrepreneur.
wish you had like two little dogs, and you worked at Starbucks, and you just like didn't have anything to worry, whatever.
Sure.
Everybody still has stuff to worry about,
Sure.
but it's just like a completely different life
Absolutely.
than one where you do like take risks, go public speaking, go do all this scary ass
do
shit.
all this stuff you don't want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But that's also why I mean, again, different quality of life for everybody, but it's why you get to do cooler shit than a normal person would, because you've taken risk and put yourself out there. So but I mean, just to close that loop of like with everything about joining like different methods of doing things, like it's like at the end of the day, maximizing your upside while minimizing your downside is going to be the best entrepreneurial like choice to make in terms of, I guess, just mentorship. You know what I mean? Like this is scary. Real estate is scary enough. I think FlipSystem just makes it way less scary to jump in, because you've already literally done everything, and so it's just more of like a plug and play system there.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and it's like that's why Amazon FBA started, because you can't duplicate it. Like Amazon does not allow you to. It was something around that. That's why whole thing Amazon FBA started, because you weren't able to have like multiple LLCs or some shit like that, or I don't know. It was like a weird thing that they had, and then they were just like they had to like sell these little side businesses they had made on Amazon or I don't know. It was something weird like that, to why Amazon FBA started and why people started selling these Amazon FBA packages.
I see.
But for like complete opposites, like real estate, it's like here's a team that's actually done it. They're working with other clients. Here's a realtor that's like sold 500 houses last year. Here's a title company that's done this.
Very tangible proof.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of like, here we tried this, but we legally can't keep going. So here you go buy it, and like good luck to you.
Yeah, it's wild.
I think something also really interesting when it comes to like our model and what we do, right, is there's like a million ways to make money in real estate. And you can go wholesale, you can do turnkey flips, you can do retail, you can do luxury fix and flips. Like, I'm curious with you, like, what made you want to do micro flipping? Because, like, that is what we were also talking about with people so much, is like, this is our strategy. Might not be a fit for you, and that's okay. Yeah. But this is where we found success, was like the, lower barrier to enter. I guess even for you too, like, kind of more on that. Like, what made you want to get into micro flipping?
I only had a couple coins to rub together, so it's the only place you can afford. No, I'm just kidding.
There are a million ways to invest in real estate, and I think that's one of the reasons why people come and they want to learn about investing with us, joining FlipSystem and stuff, and why they don't do it, because there are so many freaking options. And I think for the last 8 years, I've only done that one strategy. I mean, maybe I bought like apartment buildings or tested other things or like looked at Airbnb or whatever, but the only thing that I've ever done, because nothing could beat it, was the micro flips. And the reason why, and I was on the Bigger podcast, and I said the same shit to them too. And it's just the least amount of risk with the highest return and with the most amount of exit strategies.
Yeah.
And like, even after I did a couple hundred of them, it still made the most amount of sense to continue doing that instead of going and doing something else and trying something different. It still made the most amount of sense. Like, for example, all right, let's say you flipped 30 houses in Cleveland. Then you're like, oh, now I want to try doing luxury fix and flips. It's like, okay, go run the numbers on a luxury fix and flip in LA. Tell me if you would fucking do that deal. Yeah. Like, I would rather do 10 times the amount of deals that I'm doing with like my Cleveland team that I have built up, the reputation that I have with them, the accuracy of the rehab bid, and the multiple exits. So it's those kinds of things. Multiple exit strategies, number one. I could buy the house, renovate it. I could sell it as a retail fix and flip, which I've never really do unless I'm really stuck. If I can't rent the house out, pretty much is when I would just list it. Or I buy the house, renovate it, rent it out, and then I can refinance it, sell it on Martel Turnkey, post it on another turnkey provider's website that I have a relationship with. Like, dude, and then if nothing works, refinance it, pull my money out, move on to the next deal, or pay my investor off, pay off the hard money lender, and move on. Second thing, if your construction costs are in 20 to 40K in the Midwest, the accuracy of your rehab bids is like
96%.
96% is what it has been for Martel Turnkey, and for like all the deals that we had done, that's the actual statistic is 96%.
That's crazy.
You go talk to these luxury fix and flippers, like if you have any friends flipping houses in LA, New York, Miami, dude,
always go over.
Variance is like
always
20%.
Go.
Yeah.
Literally, I just talked to a guy. He's doing a house in West Hollywood, and he's supposed to profit like $1 million or something. It is a 2-year project. Let's just start there. And he has tons of investors. He's like, I should make 500. She should make 500. Whatever, cool. But like what they got it for, all the stuff they're putting in, and then they're doing the interior design. This, and he's like, oh yeah, we're well over the budget, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna make $1 million. Like that's how he looks at it, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, so he's like, oh, we're so far over it. But again, even to that point, it's a longer deal. There's so much risk. There's all the stress. It's 2 years that you're waiting for this.
Interest rate risk.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you're continuing to put all your money into that
If
and
you're
sink
cash
more
heavy,
money.
then it's all good. But
Yeah.
if you're a normal guy that has like 50 to 100K, then you can't do that.
Dude, but most of these people don't do that. Did you do the deal all cash? No.
think so.
No. Because, dude, even at that level, like, these guys still use hard money. They still use
smart.
these loans. Because then they're like, I'm going to do 4 projects instead of 1.
Right.
So, like, you may think, oh, yeah, no. They're bleeding 10
Dude,
grand a
I-
month
I
per
would-
project,
How
20
do you
grand a month
sleep
per
at night
Legit.
knowing you owe 100K a month?
For 2 years. And then imagine if there's another COVID. Imagine if there's another, whatever, the government starts printing more money. The interest rates go
Yeah.
up again. Like, dude, you have so
Way
much.
too leveraged. Yeah.
So much damn risk. So for all of those reasons, that's why I just like stuck to what I was doing. And dude, like the returns are insane. You put 20 grand into a deal. Once you start raising like private money and stuff like that from friends and family, you put nothing in a deal and you walk away with 10K, 5K, and you just set up a system and it's just automated. So you hire one person to find the deals, or if you have FlipSystem, does it for you essentially. You don't have to hire that. But you go to the marketplace, you make some offers, you send a couple emails, you put one under contract. Your hard money lender that you keep using over and over gets you better rates, and you just like set up a process like that to run through it. And if you're not using hard money, you probably use a private money lender, and then you can get them to fund the whole fucking deal, and they can make 8% interest instead of like a hard money lender at 12, and then that's where you can like create the machine. So
That's what we just started doing.
yeah.
Friends and family and raising money, and they're just wiring the money. We're giving them a percentage over 6
Yeah.
months or a year.
Yeah. And then for those of you that are listening that don't know what a microflip is, a microflip is essentially a flip where, I don't know, you would do like less than a $50,000 renovation. Typically it's like $20,000 to $40,000 renovation. It's going to be a small, quick, and easy flip. It's more renovation than a lipstick on the pig. It's less renovation than a luxury fix and flip. So you still have to renovate the property enough to get the value up. I hate when I say microflip and people are like, so you're just
Painting.
painting or like putting new blinds.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, buddy, 25, that'd be the most expensive blinds on earth. But yeah, so that's what a microflip is. Small, quick projects. The other thing about it is the time. I mean, you mentioned that too, but like the time of these projects for Martel Turnkey, it was on average like 110 days. So, you can get it. Our fastest project was like 64 days. Bought
Acquiring
it.
to selling?
Yeah.
Bought, rent out, and sell. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That was probably
64.
in the heat of COVID, huh?
That was
Dude, they were flying off the shelves.
at Martel Turnkey.
Let me just pause and just say that if we had FlipSystem during COVID,
Oh,
are you dumb? we would have been, bro.
Everyone would have been making money.
Nobody would have not joined. We would have all been millionaires by this point. Bro.
Literally, I think
remember
of that all the time. Like 3.5% at some of these things. Like
Yeah.
single families are
Dude.
cash flowing like $650 a month.
you were selling them before you even had photos up on Martel Turnkey.
Okay, you guys want to know the crazy stories?
shit!
Oh, here we go.
This
This
is
is what
gonna
we're
make me
supposed to
hate
unpack.
Antoine more.
Okay. We would put a house under contract. We would get the rehab bid. I would like shoot an email off to a couple of my investors. They would fund the deal, wire me the money. We'd close a couple days later. As soon as the day that I closed, I would put it up on the website, do an email.
Yeah.
It's contract signed.
Yeah, no, I remember.
And I would be like, the website was like sold out. You would just have to wait, and we would do a little email, and then people would like make multiple offers. We'd accept one, and we'd be like, sorry, but we have a couple deals we're buying,
Yeah.
and like you can buy these houses if we end up
Yeah.
buying them and shit. We didn't even own the fucking house,
Unreal.
and they were like getting in line, and then we were like worried about sharing the address when like we were like still under contract because it's kind of like finicky. So we'd wait
yeah.
till like everything was good, like we were
Closed, yeah.
signed, and then just waiting on the final confirmation. We had to like delay me signing the contract because I didn't technically own it yet.
Yeah.
Because they'd be like, okay, cool, send the contract, and like,
You're
I'm
like, yeah, I'll get it over to you.
yeah, I'll
You're
get it
like,
over to you. And like, I don't sign it, and then like, because they wanted to review it or whatever. So I was like, dude, it was crazy.
Dude, nuts.
But That's just one side of it. The construction during COVID was the nightmare.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All these cities had like, you cannot have 6 people or more in
my
a house
God.
that are unmasked, because like they were all unmasked because they were like doing shit, or some of them were masked if they were like painting and stuff, but they were just so hot in there. And then so it's like, if you can't have more than 6 people.
Right.
So many people got sick.
Dang.
A couple of like the main contractors died from COVID that we were using in Cleveland. Like, yeah, it was crazy. And then like these contractors too that you use for these like 20 to 40K projects, they're not big teams. Like it's like 6 guys in a truck or 6 guys in 2 trucks, and they just like hammer these projects out. And then they have other people doing their like specialty that they'll hire, like tubbing or flooring and all that kind of stuff. So dudes, like some of these guys got sick. One of them was like bedridden or hospital ridden for months. Like, so it was great on the sales front, but like, dude, the projects in progress were like a nightmare. Like it was like, also we couldn't get any material.
That's all I was saying. Materials were expensive and hard.
Oh my God.
Get.
So my brother was our project manager in Memphis. He was managing like 5 GCs that we had who had their teams below them. And the price for luxury vinyl plank like tripled. We couldn't buy like caulking. You just like could not buy it anywhere, or like toilets, or like all this stuff that was like shipped in from China, and then going to little Memphis, Tennessee, for God's sakes. Like it was just, they had no material. So they're like, yeah, we can't do this because we're waiting for the store to get a next shipment in of like caulking or like stupid stuff like that.
But see, that circles back to like, there's always a problem to solve.
Yeah,
even though those were good problems, like you were freaking flying off the shelves, and you still had to figure out how to solve it, right?
Yeah. But we had a funny joke and you'll run into this too as you start to do more. But like we had a funny joke where we either had, there's investors, like your investors or lenders. There's deals, and then there's the buyers. So you have the investors, the houses and inventory, and then the buyers. You only had one of those things at any given time, and you had way too fucking much of it. So it's either way too many deals and not enough money to buy them, or you had like way too much money and there was like no deals.
Yeah.
Or you had so many houses and nobody wanted to buy that week, or you had everybody ready to buy and then you had no fucking inventory. Like there was always this, and that's how it is too. Once you get in, if you really want to start a turnkey fix and flip business, and you're not just burring it, because dude, if you're burring it, you have way more fucking control, because you don't have to rely on the last piece, the buying side. And then it's just pairing money, but you can solve money issue with hard money. And then now it's just pure deals. So your business is just predicated off deals. But for us, we didn't use hard money. We used private.
Right.
And now we had all these different variables. But
that's so cool. I have a question off that, because that's something I want to do. I think we've talked about this. When it comes to like the burr and doing stuff like that, was there a time you just like kept a ton? I know, like I think you told me in private, like you had like 40 deals and just refinanced all 40 at one point.
Yeah.
This, that, and the other. So like, I mean, was that ever something for you, just creating more cash flow and doing refis and just holding like, I don't know, why didn't you hold like 100 of them or get into multifamily and do that? And I know you have, but I don't know, maybe share a little about that.
I do like the burr strategy. I think it's a good strategy. I think for me, I was just making so much more money, and then I started hiring people for Martel Turnkey to where it was actually a business, and this business sold. This business did not refinance. I could have done it a different way. Like when I first started investing in real estate, all we did was burrs. I didn't want to deal with fucking selling and salespeople. Salespeople. Me. I didn't want to take sales calls.
I didn't want to deal with me.
Yeah. I was the worst employee, but I like didn't want to. And then I made a business around it. I started hiring people. I'm like, all right, fuck it. Now we have to do this. And part of the thing that was great about the business model that we had, or that we have, is that if a house did not sell, if we could not sell it, we can always refinance it. So refinancing was always in the back of my mind. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to like hold 300 houses in all these markets and grow a huge portfolio and
cash flow
$20,000 a month for like 40 houses or something. So it wasn't really in my book. I was more like, let me just flip as much as I can, help other people grow their portfolios. I'll use the money that I'm making to grow my own portfolio, but I'll figure that out later, essentially. Because I'm like, right now I'm just building and like doing these deals and things are working. So I did eventually, once I had a chunk of change, buy a couple apartment buildings.
Yeah.
So I had one point in Memphis up to 80 units. I had like 5 buildings, 20 unit, 11 unit, 16 unit, 24 unit. And I was like, here we go. Like, it was mostly me and my dad. We would raise a little bit of money from friends and family and some of our investors. But it was mostly me and my dad owned like 70 to 100% of the building. We have one now and we own 60%. So 60 to 100% of the building we owned. And then we would give away, small percentages. That's when we were making the most amount of cash flow from having those kinds of assets. But dude, we got crazy offers to sell those apartment buildings, and we took it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like,
you posted a story, I remember, and you were just like, honestly, I don't know why these people would want to buy it for this price, so I'm just gonna let it go. And you cashed out.
Dude, I bought this apartment building, 20-unit building in Memphis, the first one, for $900K. Me and my dad only.
Yeah.
Only me and my dad. $900,000. We bought it. We renovated for let's say $400,000. So we're rolling for 1.4 with closing costs. We got an offer for $2.2 million.
Yeah, I remember.
And this was like 18 months later.
You're like done. Let's do it.
I was like, what the fuck? $800,000 in 2 years it was a lot of work and it was a big learning experience. But after that, and then now with COVID, with the high interest rates, dude, nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
Nothing makes sense. I love multifamily. Like, I wish FlipSystem into the future can be that. Like, everybody starts with micro flips. You start doing this. Once you make some more money or you built a portfolio or whatever, like, you can do a 1031 of your houses, and we'll show you how to do the multifamily thing. Like, I love it. I think it's great. And it doesn't have to be 100 units. It can be those little, like,
4 units,
micro apartments.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking at, too, and super interested. And I love that you touched on that, because a lot of clients, I don't know about you, they start thinking as they see the process, they start salivating, and they're getting excited, like, oh, my God, I'm going to make millions. And, can I go into multifamily? And it's like, cool. Like, multifamily is possible. That's where you end up. It's not where you start.
Yeah.
You want to go in the micro flips, you want to start doing this, grow your capital, and then eventually like get there. And I think that is a possibility, and obviously it is. It sounds like that's something you've done yourself. And I always tell them, like, hey, we can make that happen as well, just down the line.
Yeah.
We can call the program, what is it? Micro to multi.
Ooh,
micro to multi.
Like that. Copyright.
No, but on that note, just to summarize too, is like, the same principles you learn on the micro flips, you can obviously apply it.
Dude, that's the thing.
And that's the biggest thing. Strength training, anything is made up of like principles to follow. Yeah. And if you can get those principles, learn them, then you can apply them in any other context, right?
100%.
So that's also the big thing.
100%.
And other markets, bring it back to where you are if you want to and stuff like that. So
yeah. Yeah, and I think, would you rather risk, okay, so I just ran the numbers for you. Like, we bought that building with $900K. We put $300K down, $400K, all in for $700,000. $700,000 of cash. Like, you could go do a fix and flip in Detroit for $22,000 out of your pocket. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like you said, like, do your practice with these small $20,000 things with super low risk, with multiple different exits. After that, once you're like, my team's great, my realtor's great, I've started to learn these neighborhoods, I've visited the city a couple of times, I really could see a future here, I like the future of this city or this neighborhood or whatnot, those things will start coming naturally, and then you'll feel way more confident to like go to the next thing, which is like learning about all the different nuances with lending, with the numbers for the multifamily.
You don't start off on a chest press with the hundos like your boy.
Well, I do,
right?
but you know what I mean?
What are you, like 30s? Right?
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming. Appreciate it. If you guys want to check out Connor's 101 podcast with me and him, it's going to be below in the show notes. If you want more insights on real estate investing, be sure to like and subscribe. See ya.